Welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Hi guys, welcome back to WSI TV. We're here for another episode of Informer Spotlight. And today we're going to be doing one of our Las Vegas specials. So I'm joined as always by Tayler. So how are you doing today, Tayler?
I'm good. How are you, Leah?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to get into this episode. So today we're going to be talking about the advertising genius of Sin City. So before we get into that, I have to remind you as always to go on the WSITV.com and sign up for our free daily newsletters and get instant access to the WSI TV Vault with all of our exclusive content. All right, so what makes Las Vegas famous and fabulous? It's actually the marketing is what we've decided. We've looked at all of our footage, we've talked about it a lot, and tried to get down to the nitty-gritty of why does everyone know what Las Vegas is? Why does everybody have an image in their head of what Las Vegas is like, even if they haven't been there? And it's all about that successful marketing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the reputation of Las Vegas and how it has spread so far. Because there's that saying of what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. But the reputation of the city expands way beyond even just the U.S. It's worldwide. Everybody knows what it is.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just to backpedal a little bit prior to getting into this and like why Vegas is so world famous, even though you may not remember where you learned about it. The reason we're talking about Las Vegas at all is because we did actually visit recently. Lee and I did go to Las Vegas for the first time. Neither of us had been there before. Of course, if you did visit us at the annual Wealth Summit last December, you do know that we were there. So that's where all of this is coming from. We were kind of slack-jawed when we got onto the Strip and we saw all of the marketing, the branding, and just as a financial analyst, it kind of stopped us in our tracks and was like, what's going on here? So that's kind of why we dug into this for you to try and flesh out how Vegas became this just gargantuan company.
Yeah, and it's such a novelty. It exists out in the middle of the desert, and there's nothing to do there for hours in either direction except the Strip. And that Strip has become so famous that thousands upon thousands of people go every year. We actually have some numbers on how many people go out there. So almost 50 million tourists visit each year, and it's home to 17 of the top 20 hotels in the world. And another thing about their reputation, 230 marriage licenses are issued per day on average.
That's my favorite thing.
I know. So everybody knows there's that reputation for the quick and easy marriage in Las Vegas, the elopement to Vegas. Yes. So it stands true, and people steer into that. There are other places where the whole idea of why Las Vegas is like that is because it's a party town, so you can celebrate your marriage.
Yes.
And because you don't need to wait 3 days for your marriage license, so you can go get the license, get married that same day. But there are 3 or 4 other cities in the U.S. that do that, but none of them have the reputation that Las Vegas does. So we just really want to dig into where that reputation comes from and how they're so successful in it. Another thing that I thought was really interesting, the Welcome to Las Vegas sign that is the staple of Las Vegas, it was our first slide today, was actually erected in 1959, so well after the reputation of Las Vegas had actually started. And it's known throughout the world as Sin City, the gambling capital of the world, and it's one of the top vacation destinations worldwide. So why is everybody drawn to Las Vegas? Did you know that the famous Las Vegas Strip is not actually located in the city of Las Vegas?
I had no idea, and we stayed on the Strip. I'm very upset.
It's actually under the general jurisdiction of Clark County, so it's not actually a part of the city of Las Vegas. That is all the suburbs and things outside of the Strip. The Strip itself is its own entity, but it has the reputation of Las Vegas, so that is effective marketing right there. And the fact that nobody knows that is effective.
We stayed there.
Yes,
I'm
and we
still
didn't know
mad
that.
about this, that we didn't know this.
I didn't know it either until I started researching, but it just fit in so well with, there's this charisma and mystery and expectation of Las Vegas. It doesn't necessarily fit with where the reality of it, but we all know this idea of Las Vegas. So And it's one of the most profitable cities in the United
for
States.
sure.
It draws in so much tourism, so much money, not just from the casinos, but from just the overall experience. So we want to try to take that and show you guys how to apply that to any business. So things that everybody knows about Las Vegas. You know it's a gambling city. You know it's all about the fun of the games. It's home to some of the greatest shows in the world. It's a place of luxury and indulgence, and there are lots of flashing lights, casinos, drinks, showgirls, and more around every single corner. Vegas is always more. It's the biggest, it's the best, it's the showiest. And everybody knows that, even if they've never been there.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that before we went.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of just this expectation that you have that, I mean, even people that had been there before were kind of warning us before we went. Not necessarily in a bad way, but like I was warned I was going to get culture shock. And it's like, well, this is in the United States. Like I didn't take it seriously to think that how different everything would be just as soon as you step foot in the Strip. And it definitely does live up to all the expectations that you thought.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's just so crazy that there is culture shock. It is, Vegas is, again, its own entity where there is just this weird kind of draw in, and it's not like anything else in the world. And it's known for that.
Yes.
But how is it known for that? That was what we were really trying to get at. We filmed a lot while we were there, went to some of the most famous spots to try to get down to what makes Las Vegas, Las Vegas.
Yes. Yeah.
So everyone wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to be drawn in. So however they're managing to insert this marketing into every aspect of, I mean, I know about it and I never sought out information about Las Vegas until we were going there, but I knew what to expect from it because it's in popular culture, it's in film, it's in, people have sayings about it. It just comes up in conversation.
You hear word of mouth stories. And exactly. And that's where their success is derived from, is the fact that they can draw anybody and everybody in without kind of like consciously advertising this. We were talking about how it's essentially free advertising. Every time someone says what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, like they just have such a psychological hold on pop culture that we don't even realize how much money is coming out of that and how much people are spending to go be a part of that.
Yeah, and they don't have to put any money in. The casinos and the hotels and all of the shows are drawing people in without actively advertising throughout the world. It's done for them for free because they've already built that reputation, and then it's carried itself for free. Passive marketing at its best. So how did Las Vegas become the most famous city in the world to the point where passive marketing is working for them all the time? So the biggest thing is branding. Las Vegas is one of the biggest examples of cohesive marketing throughout different businesses. The Strip in the surrounding area has achieved this general reputation, and all of the companies there have stuck to it. Even 7-Eleven has flashing lights out there. That was one of my favorite things when we first landed. We're driving through to get to our hotel, and I look over, and there is a shimmering wall that is the 7-Eleven sign.
I liked the huge Dunkin' Donuts coffee that was 15 feet tall. That one was my favorite.
Yeah, so even companies that exist in other places steer into that Las Vegas culture when they're there.
And we weren't even on the Strip yet. So it just kind of branches outwards in of itself. But that branding is really powerful for sure.
Exactly. And all the companies are just kind of this unspoken, it's not a rule. I checked. You have to get building permits and everything, but you don't have to have the Vegas flashing lights on every building. But companies choose to do that. It's this unspoken rule that if you're going to be successful there, you're going to steer into the Las Vegas reputation.
For sure.
And then another thing is that they know their audience. We always say that you're supposed to go after a specific need or want when you're building a business. And Las Vegas has kind of diversified in that anything that you can want to do that is luxury or fun, they've got it going for them. They have it. It is the tourist destination. It is the place to go and find luxury and fun, and usually at a discounted price. Hotels there are much cheaper than anywhere else because they expect you to go out on the casino floors and spend money on the other parts of the experience. But because they know their audience, they know that people are looking for fun, they steer into that. They go for the surprise, the luxury, the wow factor, and know that that's going to build this reputation for amazing and unlike anything else, and draw people in. And then another thing that really intrigued me was the business cooperation.
Oh, for sure.
Especially on that Strip, there are competitors literally next door sharing walls.
Yeah.
And they're fine with that, and they're all doing well, they're all succeeding. And they are competitors, but they profit off of one another and support one another by keeping in with that central branding. and by getting ideas from one another and building those and going in different directions. So like their Cirque du Soleil is hosted at multiple different casinos throughout the city. Caesar's Palace opened a big underwater show right after there was a huge show that went viral because it was like this water inclusive Broadway show basically. Wow. So all of these different companies are thinking, oh, they did that, I'm going to do something similar and draw in that same audience. And it just keeps people there longer and builds more money off of it.
Exactly, yeah.
And clearly that's specific to Las Vegas and the entertainment industry, but the ideas there can be applied to any industry.
Well, exactly. It's not like the kind of competition that you're thinking of in proximity, like when you drive down the street and there's a CVS on your left and a Walgreens on your right. It's a very different kind of proximity in that they're using it to their advantage, but not to try and, steal you away from another casino. They're just trying to monopolize your time as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah, exactly. And monopolizing your time. Moving on to our next point is that wow factor. Tayler and I were talking about this a little bit before we started filming of the advertisement, the commercial, whatever catches your attention when it comes to advertising and marketing. It's the thing that surprises you.
Yes.
It's that billboard that you see that you're like, what is that? That's the one that you remember.
Yes.
And Las Vegas definitely has that going for them. They always have that shock value. And I know that's part of why Cirque du Soleil is so successful there. I mean, they have, again, multiple shows going on all the time. And some of their newest shows are always brought out there because it's kind of a quirky, weird take on performance. And so they're very successful in that. Some of the most cutting edge and odd shows ever take place in Las Vegas and premiere in Las Vegas. Lady Gaga has a permanent installment there, and she's as wow and shock value as you can get.
Yes.
So,
but I mean, even we had discussed with a local taxi driver, he told us that, we were talking about how we didn't expect country music to be so huge. Of course, obviously Las Vegas is in the middle of the desert, but you don't feel that way when you're on the Strip. So we were kind of having this conversation about, I didn't think that kind of music would have a home here. And he was like, every big name artist stops here, no matter what genre they're in. He was like, from gospel to country, they'll be here. Like, this amphitheater sees everybody because everybody will come to see the shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is that draw. It's spectacular. It's bigger than life. And Las Vegas just draws all that in over and over again. And that's, again, they're drawing in that free marketing because artists want to perform there. Artists want to come there, and they want to find these big venues or that amphitheater to host them, and that's more money for the city that they don't even have to reach out to get. People will contact them wanting to perform there. So remember the wow factor and how to get the shock value. So you can do it in a lot of different ways. You can do it with something very extreme. You can do it with something very strange or very special, new, different. Just anything that's going to be surprising. One specific example of this that we saw was definitely the novel. It was the Golden Nugget in Old Las Vegas on Fremont Street. And Tayler and I actually went to visit it while we were there because it's got this, again, reputation that precedes it. And then there's the casino attached where it is on show, and it draws in thousands of tourists a year just to see this Golden Nugget. So we actually have a clip of us when we went there that we're going to show you guys. So we hope you enjoy that.
Hi guys, so we're here in Vegas and we're at the largest hunk of gold in the world. So this is called the Faith Nugget, and it's 61 pounds. So it's just another example of kind of the prestige of Vegas that draws in so many people. So we're just going to keep taking you along on our trips here and talk about kind of that commercialization as we go along.
Hey guys, we're here at the famous Fremont Street. As you can see, this is kind of the generic casino thing that you're looking for in the movies and all the things that you hear about in pop culture and things like that. Behind us, we've got the Golden Nugget, and we're standing next to Binion's, which are, of course, two very famous casinos. So Golden Nugget is famous, of course, for the Golden Nugget that weighs 61 pounds. We'll take you on a trip to see that. There's also, at Binion's, there's the famous $1 million in cash. Never physically seen $1 million. They've got it. Behind us, we have Four Queens, and then there's just all these famous Vegas lights. So this is the older part of the city, and this is what everybody sees when they think of the movies. This is like the famous Strip, and it has this prestige and this history to it that draws people in. But people don't realize how far Vegas extends beyond just that. In the main Strip.
anymore. So we're excited to be here. We're excited to show you guys around and really dig into all of the different facets of Vegas life.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We've got some more stuff coming up for you. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
So like with that clip of the Golden Nugget, there are all kinds of draws all over Las Vegas specifically. So there's another casino that has $1 million on display and cash for you to go see. We stayed at, is it Harrah's?
Yes, I believe so.
They have a reputation for being one of the oldest and most classic casinos.
Yes,
and then we have the Venetian, which is famous for being all class and luxury. And the Bellagio is the same thing, but with a different period in its structure architecturally. So reputations are these really powerful things. The Golden Nugget has this reputation as this amazing thing that you can't see anywhere else. And so everybody wants to go and find it.
Exactly.
And they draw in so many customers there. When we were trying to walk through the casino to go and see it, it was a madhouse. We could not move anywhere.
Yeah, it was packed.
Yeah, because people will come to see that thing and then they'll stay for all the fun.
I guarantee you 80% of the people on that casino floor were not guests at the Golden Nugget. They weren't staying there. They might not even been staying on Fremont Street. I mean, I guarantee you it was the people that traveled to come see the different sites in Las Vegas. Because I mean, we stayed, I don't think we spent more than 20 minutes at a time in our hotel. Like you just traverse the whole thing because you want to see it all.
Absolutely. And with that, just think about how much people will pay to go see these things, not just in Las Vegas. Think about how much people spend to get to Orlando to go to Disney.
Exactly, yes.
And how much you spend to actually get into the park after you get here. How much we spend to go to the park when we live here.
Yes.
Think about how much more you're willing to pay for a 5-star restaurant versus a 2-star restaurant, or for a ticket to a performance that's gotten amazing reviews versus one that is a discount theater.
Exactly.
People will pay more for higher value in the experience. And Vegas has a reputation for fun attached to the chance to make money on top of that. So that is this very, very different idea of what it is to invest in fun.
Yes.
So we go into Disney paying all of this money to get there, and you're not going to get any of that back. You know that you're going to spend more once you're in the park.
You're going to drop more on as soon as you walk in. So it's a very interesting thing that they lure you in with that kind of lustful, greedy. You can make back the money you spent to get here.
Exactly.
You could leave here super luxurious and rich the way that you're staying here. It's this ultimate, above the American dream kind of lure that they totally dangle in front of everybody.
Yeah, and that's that special something that sets Vegas apart is that it has all of the fun and the experience of any other attraction, but it also has that chance to make back everything that you've spent on the trip and maybe more.
Yes.
So it's kind of irresistible. And on top of that, it's just for the vacation side of it, it's exclusive, it's high class, it's sinful, it's fabulous, it's different.
Yes.
And so it's just very alluring to travelers. And because of the reputation that Vegas has for the fun, exclusive, odd, amazing, all the businesses there can charge astronomically higher than businesses in other locations. Tayler and I definitely experienced this when we were staying there. Even just going to get a sandwich or an apple, it costs way more on the Strip than it does anywhere else because it's all about the location and the exclusivity of where you are.
Exactly, yes. And I mean, I have heard, we both grew up obviously in close proximity to Walt Disney. When I worked in Walt Disney World, it was left and right people complaining about how much more expensive things were here, and I didn't think about it, but honestly Orlando couldn't hold a candle to Las Vegas. And it's very interesting to see the dichotomy there because they're two very large cities powered by tourism essentially. That's the entire driving force of these two cities, and we didn't even come close in terms of the day-to-day experience that we had of the charges, of the prices that we were experiencing and the brands that we were coming up in front of. Obviously it was more West Coast oriented, but it was things that a burger should not be $7, but it was it was things like that you and I kind of sat there and were like, oh, okay, which it wasn't great for our personal wallets, but if you're looking at it in terms of Las Vegas is something that people put on their bucket list. That's the kind of thing that you want your business to be. It's something that people are willing to spend $7 on a burger and a bottle of water because it's something that they have to complete in their life in order to feel that satisfaction, or it's something that they want to do. Give them something that draws them in.
Absolutely. And then there's also a little bit of that kind of captive host thing where once you're on the Strip, it's kind of hard to get off the Strip.
Very difficult, yes.
And so you're willing to pay extra for the convenience of what's on the Strip. And that's, again, really clever location marketing. So on top of that, just in general, just summing all of that up, you're paying for the experience of Vegas. You're not paying for the burger and the bottle of water. You're paying for the burger and the bottle of water on the Strip in Las Vegas, fulfilling your bucket list.
Yes.
And Las Vegas businesses break in the profits from buying into that branding and the general idea of what Las Vegas should be. It's not just the meal, it's not just the hotel room, it's not just the drink that you're paying for at the bar, it's the fact that you're getting a drink at the bar that was in this movie, or that Brad Pitt sat at in Ocean's 11.
You're at the Bellagio bar,
and it's that experience, it's not just the thing that you're paying for. So they're able to profit exponentially off of that.
For sure.
For example, Caesars Entertainment brought in a revenue of $8.39 billion in 2018. And it's not even one of the top performing casino brands.
We were talking about it, that Caesars was actually bought out earlier this year by a different casino company, meaning that it had been in some financial trouble in the past couple of years. Not meaning that it's going to go under anytime soon, but I mean, they're by far not the highest earner on the Strip, nor in general, like in the casino industry. So that's kind of
but this
a
is
crazy
one
number.
Company that made that much.
And it's just
not
a
the most
fraction of the Strip.
No, that's a tiny fraction, because Caesars Entertainment doesn't own everything on the Strip. They have their the Caesars Palace that we all know, and then it owns Harrah's, where we stayed, and a few other casinos.
There's a few others,
but it's a tiny fraction of the Strip, and it made $8.39 billion in 1 year. That's just such a staggering number.
It is.
And it's just such a clear example of that successful marketing, because everybody knows Caesars. So, and how did it do this? It's because of that reputation.
For sure.
So it's because it's an institution, it's a destination that's known around the world. People will go to Las Vegas specifically to go to Caesars Palace. And then other companies jump off of this too. They use the bright lights, the prestige, the enjoyment, and the novelty of Vegas to boost their own reputations. Even a really mediocre hotel could have a great reputation just because of where it's located on that Strip. Because again, you're paying for the location, you're paying for the experience, not just
the world famous casino, or that floor show that everybody talks about that you heard at your cousin's wedding 10 years ago, like things like that. The things that are kind of legendary, that are hyped up, and you know, just word of mouth stories.
So it goes far, and the success isn't just the casinos. I think there's a misconception that Las Vegas is successful because it takes everybody's money on the casino floor. But actually, casinos are only a tiny percentage of the revenue that's coming into. So the Venetian is one of the biggest casinos on the Strip,
size-wise, and I think revenue-wise.
And fame-wise, it's just everybody knows the Venetian. It's classy, it's beautiful. That was the first thing on our list. We wanted to go there immediately. But the casino itself only makes $3,737 a day on games, table games, and then $185 on the slot machines.
Which is nothing.
And when you add it up, it's $1.5 million about per year, which sounds like a big number to the individual, but for a business like that, it's tiny. I mean, $1.5 million. Let's go back to
the
Caesars. Caesars makes $8.39 billion per year. That's about 1% of that is
around there
from that, and the Venetian makes more per year than Caesars Entertainment. So that's a drop in the bucket for the Venetian. So all the revenue then isn't coming from the casinos, it's coming from all of the other things that are waiting for you in the Venetian, which we discovered. There's I can't remember what it's called. There's
full-size mall.
And there's the gondolas. We did a gondola ride just because it was one of the most recommended things to do in Las Vegas, and every review said that we had to do it. And it was just this experience that you had to have in Las Vegas. You had to check it off of the Las Vegas bucket list. And they made quite a lot on that.
They did. They did indeed.
And then there's Tao nightclub that is very, very popular there. They bring in about $50 million a year.
Wow.
One nightclub. There's, I think, 5 or 6 nightclubs on the Venetian property, and dozens of restaurants and more bars on top of that.
No, it was a long walk. I don't even think we did the end to end. The place was huge.
So much is being brought into the Venetian from other things. It's because it's not just the casino that you're going for, it's the entire experience. And there's marketing and deals with different companies to have their stuff stocked in the Venetian around every corner. It's just everywhere. And then another one is the Bellagio, which similarly builds off of the reputation of that luxury and prestige. And we actually, again, went and checked out this one to see what all the hype was about, because the Venetian and the Bellagio are basically the top tier casinos to go and see, and the top tier resorts for the best experience in Las Vegas. So where at the Venetian we did the gondola ride, at the Bellagio we decided to dine in at one of their lower class restaurants. This one had $1 sign on their website.
Just keep that in mind.
But we wanted to check out because there's a waiting list for this restaurant. There's people out the door, down
we
the
waited
strip.
in a line out the door.
Yeah, and we had a reservation and we still waited for about 45 minutes. Yeah, so, and it's like that every day at this restaurant. And so that's just one restaurant out of the dozens at the Bellagio, and they bring in...
And it was the lower tiered restaurant as well. Yeah.
Yep. But they bring in all of those people because it has the reputation of the Bellagio. And along with it, you're getting the experience of being in this beautiful Bellagio cafe with a view of the conservatory. There's that experience. Again, you're not paying for the food, you're paying for the experience, which we learned when we visited. It's called Sedell's Cafe, and we have a little clip of what it was like there. So Sedell's obviously is a beautiful cafe, and we had a great brunch there.
Oh, yes.
But it's so much more expensive than your usual brunch restaurant or breakfast restaurant.
And that's coming from us in Orlando. Like, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I'm a big brunch fan. I go out all the time. I've tried some of the best restaurants in Orlando, including the high-priced Disney ones, the ones downtown.
The more expensive ones.
Yeah.
The ones that you save up a little bit before you go, because you know that you're paying for the upper-tiered restaurant, that kind of level of service that you're expecting. And this obviously, it was an amazing experience. Like, there's nothing wrong with this place. Was worth it, but we were kind of astounded at how high those price points went, because we didn't think that it would have been, like in a business model, you can price your products in a range that people have to be willing to pay it in order for you to make money. And I didn't expect them to be able to rake in that much business and that much service in the way that they had priced things. But I mean, the place was packed, and it's packed every day. Yes. I think that says a lot about the power of that reputation, and that you're in the Bellagio means enough that you're paying to be in the seat, essentially. Yeah, and
I had the feeling that they could bring burnt coffee and a sad piece of toast, and people would still pay $50 to be there.
Yes.
Just to be there, just to be able to say they'd been to this cafe.
Yes.
And that was kind of a cool thing to see, the power of that reputation when it comes to business success. It was surprising and shocking when we were buying our breakfast, but it was an amazing experience to see how much your reputation as a business can mean for you.
Exactly.
So how can you apply all of this to your business success? So the biggest thing is to look for that wow factor, that extra thing that sets you apart from the crowd. What makes your business different from all the other businesses like it?
Yeah, and I think it's kind of important to highlight that we're showing you Las Vegas because it's kind of like the most extreme example of this that you could get. I can't really think of any other business or branding, especially one that has such, like pervasive marketing that does the wow factor so well, but kind of it's not necessarily, Vegas is a little meta in that it does the wow factor, but it also astounds you when you're there. A wow factor could just be you offer overnight delivery. Yeah. And your customers, it's a convenient thing that perhaps you're offering something like, I don't even know, medications or something like that. Say you operate after hours in a pharmacy. you're bringing something that customer may be astounded that they're getting that service, they will pay you anything under the sun to get that service. So I mean, the wow factor doesn't have to be that you have contortionists in your front lobby, or that you have, you know, the dancing fountains like the Bellagio does. It could just be something that your customers hadn't seen before or hadn't known that they could expect from you.
Exactly. It's fulfilling that need,
Exactly.
basically, in a new way. So another good example, you brought this up a little bit with overnight delivery. That's Amazon's wow factor is that you can pay for the Prime membership and get your stuff delivered same day or next day.
Yes.
That is their wow. Las Vegas's wow is obviously the showiness and the strangeness of it. But your company, if you're in any industry, there's going to be a wow. It just is something that makes you better than your competitor or different than your competitor. It could be that you offer more one-on-one experience with your customers. It could be as simple as that. But there has to be something that you can put on a billboard that makes people want to call you.
Apart. Yes.
Yeah. And then choose your location wisely. Las Vegas obviously takes this again to the extreme.
Yes.
We're going to build a bunch of casinos in the middle of the desert, and everybody has to come here, and then they're trapped here, and they will be successful
they
because
spend
of that.
money in a circle all week. That's it.
Yeah. So obviously they take it to the extreme, and any casino owner knows if I want the big bucks, if I want to be a big success, I need to build something in Las Vegas. But this works for any industry. So the opposite of this would be you don't want to go somewhere like Florida to sell ski equipment.
No.
You want to be up somewhere where there are skiing ranges, and you want to be somewhere where this is a business that people expect to have. Another example is if you're an industry like ours, it's a great thing to be located on the East Coast and specifically in New York because you're on the same timeline as the New York stock market or stock exchange. And then if you're in New York specifically, it has a reputation as being the business capital.
The proximity to Wall Street too, yeah.
Exactly. And so for a business, being there gives you this credibility automatically because people associate location with credibility or with a certain kind of demographic of business. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your location.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, captive audience, especially for vacationers and tourism, it's a strong factor.
It's a good check to have.
Yes. And then build your reputation with purpose. So Las Vegas has done this to the degree where they don't have to market anymore. They're so well known and with such a specific personality as a business and as a group of businesses that they show up in movies and popular culture. People talk about it all the time without them having to do a single thing.
They pay to film in these locations, so things like that. I mean, I've never seen, you know, a commercial for MGM. You don't have to. I mean, it's Bellagio. I had no idea what that resort was until Ocean's 11, and then all of a sudden Bellagio is this amazing resort that you want to go see, and it seems larger than life, and they probably paid to have the permits to be on that location. So it's just kind of crazy how that switch happened, and they orchestrated that switch to be paid for their location as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, but if you build the first two things, if you build that wow factor in that location and build that into your reputation and do it wisely and do it with purpose, eventually your reputation is going to precede you as a company, and you're not going to have to do anything because people will be flocking to you.
Yes.
So those are your big three things when you're building your business. And just to sum it all up, reputation equals value. Experience is greater than the product because people pay more for the experience on top of the product. And uniqueness is synonymous to being worthwhile. And people will pay more for something that's unique or different, something that stands out and excites them. People pay more they pay more than just what you're selling. Blah, 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 blah. It's only Tuesday. Okay.
It's only Tuesday?
It's only Tuesday.
I forgot. Okay.
So basically, people pay for sentence is catching me up. Okay.
What are you trying? People
pay for more than just
the product?
Yeah.
Heard.
So basically, people pay for more than just what you're selling. They're paying for the experience on top of the product. They're going to pay more for the same product with better marketing. No matter how the quality is. The quality could actually be less, but if the marketing is good and it makes them think that they're paying for something better, they will buy it.
Yes.
So,
and that's the power of advertising.
Absolutely. So just summing it up in your business, whether you're selling a good or a service, make sure that you create your business with care. Take conscious steps in how you're marketing yourself, just as a person, as a business, all of it. It all has to be cohesive. It all has to be towards an end goal. Take a moment. This is why a lot of businesses have mission statements. They start with that mission statement. Everything they do is towards that mission statement.
Exactly.
Pay attention to the marketing of other successful businesses in your field and try to kind of piggyback off of what they've done right and do it better.
Yes.
Use it as a blueprint. That's what the casinos do. We talked about that a little bit earlier with casinos will take similar ideas that have been successful in their competitors and just kind of warp it a little bit and do the same idea but in their own way. So if you do that as a company, not only do you have a blueprint to start building your business, but you know that it's a blueprint for success.
That it works too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then again, choose a location that boosts your company's specific purpose. Don't go somewhere where your good or service is not needed. Don't go somewhere where there's no reputation for the good or service that you offer. You want to be somewhere where you have a little bit of competition and where you can outdo that competition. Because people will look to that region for whatever you're offering. And then if you're the best of the best there, you're going to have all the business.
Exactly. And then that also does ensure that you have a customer with a need. If you kind of just pop up out of nowhere, there could be customers around you, but they may have no need or want for your product or your service. At least if you're having competitors, then you know that it's a viable company to have in that region that you're in.
Exactly. And along the same lines, use the reputation of other businesses in your area to your advantage. If you look at it right, they are not just your competition. They are an option for a stepping stone to boost you up, to prove that you are better than them. So they won't be there to knock you down. They're actually going to be a way for you to be stronger. So basically, just when you're starting your business, think what makes your business stand out. And once you have your answer, that will guide you through every decision when it comes to business success. It worked for Las Vegas to the extreme. But if you take the same principles and apply them to any business in any industry at any level, it's the same thing.
Yes.
So we were really excited to be able to bring this to you guys.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun filming while we were in Las Vegas and a lot of fun doing the research on what makes Vegas Vegas when we came back. And so we hope that you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.